Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Game Time Gavin. Today is Thursday, November 6th, 2025. Unfortunately, I'm alone today. I don't have my special guests, my fellow Pats FC fans, but I still wanted to come on. We got a big game this weekend, so I wanted to talk about Pats Bucks this Sunday, 1 p.m. in Tampa. This is going to be a really good game. I'm quite nervous, especially after last week's performance against Atlanta. We had a really strong first half, but Drake May really didn't look as strong in the second half. Our offensive line didn't really play well at all. There was a lot of sacks, but the Pats are still 7-2. They're first in the division, and it's definitely going to be an interesting game. One I'm really looking forward to. Let's dive a little bit more. Dive a little bit deeper into this matchup. So this season, both teams are leading their division. The Bucks 6-2, Pats, like I said before, 7-2. And a lot of the stats are pretty even. The Pats ranked 12th in the league in total offense, and the Bucks are ranked 17th. So I expect a pretty high-scoring game. The Bucks got Chris Godwin healthy. Obviously, Baker Mayfield, we know what he can do running the ball as well. Bucky Irving should be back for this game, so it's going to be really interesting. As far as the Patriots, they've got some injuries. Some injuries suffered in the end of last week's game with Christian Gonzalez. I think he's going to play. And also Kayshon Boutte, which would be a huge loss for the Pats this weekend if he's not able to go. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one I'm really looking forward to. And this is probably the second biggest test that the Pats have had all season. The first one being at the Bills on Sunday Night Football. Patriots, I think, have had one of the easiest schedules so far this season. So I know we've been winning all these games, but to go up against a strong Bucs team, go into Tampa and get the win, that would be huge, not just for our momentum, not just for our confidence, but just to really show the league that we are a strong team. We are the team, one of the best teams in the league and one of the teams to beat. Yeah. Now, what makes this matchup even more exciting is this is the first time the two teams have met in 2011, which was the game where Tom Brady came back to Gillette Stadium for the first time. And the Bucs came out on top, winning 19-17. So I think the Pats are going to be out for revenge. They definitely want to come out and play strong against this team. But I'm nervous. I'm very nervous, especially with these injuries that we have. And now looking at the injury report, it looks like Kayshon Boutte did not practice today, and neither did Christian Gonzalez. So those are two really big losses for the Patriots if they're not able to go this weekend. And this is, like I said earlier, we're going to have to rely on Drake May making these downfield passes, really attacking the Bucs defense, especially without Ramondre Stevenson, who is out with the turf toe. Last week we had Terrell Jennings, who went for 35 yards and a touchdown in his Patriots debut. Travion Henderson had 55 yards as well. But this is a running back room that the Pats cannot rely on. So definitely going to need to have Drake May bring his best game. Maybe especially have a game similar to those against the Bills, the Titans, the Browns, the Saints, where he's just comfortable in the pocket, standing in the pocket and making those downfield throws. It's a thing of beauty to watch when Drake May is able to perform well. I get so excited watching him play. But he's definitely going to have to step it up in comparison to last week's performance if the Pats are going to want to come out on top this weekend. I want to go a little bit more in depth here let's talk a little bit more about the Bucs, especially quarterback Baker Mayfield, who we know started off his career in Cleveland, was okay, didn't really have the best start to his career there, and then went over, played for the Panthers, and now he's on the Bucs. He's only thrown 2 interceptions so far this season. Last week against the Saints, 2 weeks ago against the Saints, he had 152 yards and a passer rating of 80.6. Mayfield has totally turned his career around, and he's really one of my, I hate to say it, but one of my favorite quarterbacks in this league. He plays with swagger, attitude, competitiveness, and he's really has shown to be the Bucs' biggest team leader. So I think the Pats defense has got to come ready to play this coming Sunday, because especially with Mayfield's scrambling ability, it's just going to be so hard for the Pats to win this game if the defense doesn't come ready to play. And it's going to be insanely important to watch the downfield throws with Chris Godwin, with Emike Egbuka, and these other receivers that the Bucs have. All right, I'm going to stop talking about the Pats for now. We'll come back next week, and I'll give a little recap, hopefully after the big dub. But let's move on to a little bit. Again, I want to go back to it, a little bit of Penn State football. Last week, we faced off against the Buckeyes in Columbus, Ohio. I honestly didn't really have much of any hope for this game for the Nittany Lions, but I don't know. There's something with Penn State football. They always give me like a glimmer of hope before every game, and then I always get let down. So maybe I should stop doing that. But I did, especially with this statistic in 2011, that was the last time Penn State had lost 4 games in a row. And after that 4th loss, they went into Columbus and beat Ohio State. But that wasn't the case this time. Penn State lost 38-14. Gronkmeyer went 19 for 28 and 145 yards with 1 interception. I mean, there's really not much he can do when the team around him just, I think they've given up. I mean, our season has gone from national champion contending teams to trying to make a bowl game, which it's not looking very, very bright right now. Catron and Singleton, they had okay games. Catron had 76 yards and a touchdown, and Singleton had only 18 yards and a touchdown. But we're looking ahead to this week's game against Indiana at home. Again, Indiana, second-ranked team in the country. They do have a key signature win this year when they went into Oregon and beat them on the road. They're a very solid team. I, again, don't really see Penn State winning this game. I'm going to make a prediction. Penn State's probably going to keep it close in the first half, similar to how they did against Ohio State. It's probably going to be 28-14. But this is a chance for Penn State to turn their season around and kind of start to give hope for next season as well. Gronkmeyer is probably going to be in at quarterback unless we get someone in the portal. A lot of the running back and receiver rooms will be gone, but we'll have the same tight ends. A lot of the defensive line will be gone, but Tony Rojas may come back. Our defensive backs, some of them will still be there. So this is a chance for us to kind of get a head start on next season. I know we still have to get a new coach and everything, but it all starts with the players. So I think this game could be huge for the Nittany Lions. And hopefully it's one where we show a little bit of confidence and maybe a glimmer of the team that we were supposed to be this season. I think Penn State fans would be very happy with that. All right, let's talk a little bit about the coaching carousel. I know I came on here a few weeks ago with Justin, and we talked a little bit about it, but some major moves have been made since then with Matt Rule being signed by Nebraska. That was pretty big because I think he was probably the front runner to become Penn State's next coach, and also Kurt Cignetti being signed to a massive deal to stay at Indiana. So those are probably my 2 front-runner candidates, and now they're both off the table. I think the Matt Rule option, it's probably a good thing that he was signed by Nebraska. I think Penn State could do better than Matt Rule. Yes, he's made Nebraska a better team. Yes, he spent time in the NFL. Yes, he was really good with Baylor. Yes, he loves Penn State. He grew up here and all that, but I just think that Penn State's a much stronger program than Matt Rule is a coach. And I'm not surprised Cignetti's staying with Indiana. He's done really well in his first 2 seasons there. Last year making it to the playoffs, and this year looking like they're going to be within the top 4 in the college football playoffs. So I'm not really surprised that Indiana gave him that deal. But as far as what our options are now, I'm looking at Mike Elko from Texas A&M. He's really built that program up, especially this year. They're currently ranked 4th in the college football playoff rankings, and they've had big wins, signature wins, which is something that Franklin wasn't able to do. They had the win against Notre Dame and other top 25 wins as well. So I think that would be a really good option. I've also heard Jeff Brom is an option, Clark Lea from Vanderbilt, but I don't really know how I feel about that. Just because, yes, he's built Vanderbilt up to a really strong program, and yes, they've had some somewhat big wins, but I just think, again, Penn State could do better than that. But this is a very interesting option that I've seen since the beginning. The ex-Northwestern coach, Pat Fitzgerald, could be a solid option. He's a really good coach. I think possibly, potentially a Hall of Fame coach. So that could be a strong option for the Nittany Lions. But my thing again is, I don't really know how much of an impact he made. I mean, he made a big impact on Northwestern, but how much of a better team he made Northwestern. And I think that's what Penn State needs. They need a coach that can come in and win major games within the next 2 to 3 seasons. I mean, that's what we've been seeing for the past however many, like 8 years, is every year Penn State's ranked. Every year they have expectations of possibly winning a national championship, especially the past 2 seasons. And I mean, I don't think Penn State's had as high hopes this season in like many, many years. So we need a coach to come in and really just keep going with the progress that has already been made. I understand that it's going to be a different looking team. The players aren't going to be the same, but that the culture is still there. So they do need to find a big candidate. I don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be really interesting. And I'm excited. I'm honestly excited because it was time for a change. Penn State hasn't seen a lot of changes. In my lifetime, I've seen 3 coaches at Penn State, which is pretty crazy to think about. I mean, I'm sure some schools have seen, 3 coaches in the past 4 seasons, and I've seen 3 in the course of 21 years. So I'm excited for this new chapter of Penn State. But yeah, I think I'm going to do a little bit of a shorter episode here. I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the Pats and also about Penn State. I'll come back next Thursday I'll be gone, but I'll come back in 2 weeks and we'll do a little recap of how the Pats did against the Bucs and how they do next weekend in their game and how Penn State fares against Indiana. And then next week they got Michigan State on the road. So we'll come back and do a little recap of those games. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Game Time Gavin. Have a great afternoon.